Hi, I'm Jeff Ludy, the owner of Houston Window Experts. I believe that buying windows should be fun, easy, and painless. And that's why we're talking today about the Anlin family of products. I'm here in a beautiful showroom in Houston, Texas, where we have over a dozen brands to choose from. And if you're not in this area, but you're looking for a great window company, check out jeffslist.com. So have you heard of Anlin Windows and Doors? Anlin Windows and Doors have been around for over 30 years. They're based out of Clovis, California, which is near Fresno, California. They make some of the nicest vinyl window products. In fact, I tell our clients all the time, before you buy a window, you should do some research on your own, right? Go on the internet and type in looking for reviews. One of my favorite things to do when I'm looking for something to buy is to say, like, for example, Anlin window complaints, not just reviews, but complaints. Type in whatever brand of window you're looking for, Pella, Anderson, Marvin, whomever. Type in the name of the company and then the word complaints. What you'll find when you read about Anlin is they have the most 5-star reviews of any window company I've seen out there. And even on Yelp. Yelp is like the most painful place to get good reviews because Yelp reviewers are typically very particular about who they do business with. So check them out. I think you're going to find that they're really great. So all they make is vinyl products. Today I want to cover their windows. We'll do another video separate about the doors. They make some hinge doors and sliding doors. But I want to talk to you about their windows. These are vinyl. And a vinyl window, of course, is made out of polyvinyl chloride. It's considered the best window for the buck. Anybody's vinyl window is probably going to be the most affordable option, but also very good when it comes to energy efficiency. Now you have to remember that while we do have about 1,800 window companies across the U.S., there's really 4 big major glass suppliers. The best of those glass suppliers is a company called Cardinal Glass. In fact, of all the brands that we sell at Houston Window Experts, all we use is Cardinal Glass, and all of them. Now you can take a look at this video, put a link to it up here and down in the description, where we discuss glass and how important it is, because glass is, after all, about 90 or 95% of a window. So if you're looking for a great window, you got to start with great glass, and Cardinal Glass is really the best to start with. So before we get any further into the window, I want to talk to you about their glass setup. Now they're using Cardinal Glass, okay, which is something that we're all familiar with because it's the best out there. But they do something a little bit different on their Del Mar series. Del Mar is their top of the line product. That's like their Cadillac, okay? If you notice here by taking a look at this, right away you can see that this piece of glass on the outside of the window is thicker than the piece of glass on the inside of the window. Now I should tell you that this is considered double strength glass. Typically when you go buy a window from most manufacturers, unless you upgrade, you get single strength glass, which means it's not even as thick as this is. So this is already double strength glass on the inside pane, but instead of putting double strength glass on the outside pane, which is standard across the board for the window industry, they're going to put a triple strength piece of glass on the outside. You say, well, Jeff, why does that matter? Does that help with break-ins, etc.? Well, of course, it is stronger and it's going to do better at that, but this is an optional package which comes standard on the Del Mar series to give you a better sound reduction, better sound performance. They're not just making windows that keep water out and dust out, they're making windows that actually keep sound out as much as well. It's up to 50% better sound reduction when you're doing this compared to a single pane window. You say, well, Jeff, why is that important? Because we have found, and maybe you know this to be true, that part of enjoying your home and having a luxury living experience inside your own home, especially since COVID, we notice this, is trying to keep that sound out, right? Like people have air conditioning units that are outside their bedroom window. People have pool equipment that makes noise. They have a neighbor's dog who's barking, right? These are all important things. And so the fact that Anlin says right away, hey, you know what? We don't want to stop at just making a great window with great vinyl, with high levels of titanium dioxide, which is what makes a window last so long and be so beautiful. We also want to try to keep the sound out. We want to keep the wind out. And they do that by giving you a triple weather stripping, which is a great weather stripping. They do it by giving you great interlocking meeting rails, which I'm going to cover in just a minute. And then, of course, by giving you this sound reduction package on their glass. It's really cool stuff. So we'll come back to this in just a minute. But let me just kind of show you some of the things I like about this product. Now, this is the Del Mar product, okay? They also make this, and it's almost identical. They make it in called Coronado. So they have Coronado and they have Del Mar, okay? Those are the 2 main categories. And then they have one called Del Mar E, and I'm going to discuss all of that with you. A little bit confusing, but just for right now, stick with me, okay? This is the Del Mar E series. E stands for expanded view. In other words, It's a narrower frame, as you can notice, it's very narrow, and so you have more glass. It's narrow, and so you have more glass. Now, to compare, this is not the E series. This is the standard series. Here you can see how this is wider on the top. Do you see this? This is wider. It's not skinny like that other one is. So here you have less glass than you have on this one right here. This is the E series, okay? So this is expanded glass. You get more glass out of it. Why does that matter? Well, nobody wants to go out and buy, hey, what's the best vinyl you've got? No, it's what's the best window you got? What's the most glass I can get? How can I get more view? How can I get more light with less heat, right? That's the whole idea. So narrower frame means more glass, and this is what makes this our most popular, best-selling Anlin product. In fact, it's probably our most popular vinyl window in entirely as far as our products are concerned, because of the fact that it does give you such a narrow glass space. Now look at the inside of this. It is really nice, clean, contemporary. It's just very minimalistic. It's very simple. I love that about it. Good 90-degree angles, right? Nice, clean, nice corner welds. These are really smooth. A lot of companies don't do a very good job on their corner welds, and you'll end up seeing these big rough edges. In fact, I've got a sample of that with a competitor. I took the name off of this because I don't want to in any way make anybody feel bad or whatever, but you can see here how their corner is. It's like really rough, and it's just almost kind of sharp, and it can cut you. They just can't do as good a job of keeping that looking as clean. If you notice too, on the inside of this one, it's just a little bit different layout than how that is down here at this corner. It's kind of rough. I don't know if you can see that edge or not, but that's a competitor. And also, I guess while I've got this up, I'll show you the competitor too. How much glass you're losing here. I mean, look how wide that is, how much vinyl is here. And so the idea of saying, you know, Jeff, I want more glass, Jeff, I want to see out, I want more light, those are things that you're going to get out of this, and it's a much cleaner look. Now, another thing too that you'll notice in this window is that they have what's called a jam cover or jam liner, some window companies call it. Right here you can see how this is all nice and filled in. This is actually a piece that snaps in there, okay? That's actually snapped in there. I'll show you a window that doesn't have one of those so you can see what I'm talking about. Here's the comparison difference. This is a great window as well, but as you can see here, there's no cover on that, right? That's all exposed and it's open there. Just a little bit more refinement, just makes it look a little bit nicer. It's just a little bit cleaner look. Now this window has a single lock on it right here. If it's a wider window, when they get past 32 inches, 34 inches, somewhere in there, they go to double locks. It operates almost effortlessly, really nice and easy to operate. I've got a little lift rail down here, and I can also push on that. And the reason this operates so well, and it does have some resistance, the reason it has resistance is because it has a great weather stripping. But the reason it operates so well is because this uses what's called a constant force balancer. A constant force balancer, unlike a unit that uses a spring in there, actually is a coil spring. And constant force meaning that it's not tighter when it gets to one spot than it is another. It stays consistent. So I get this same nice consistent operation all the way through. Now this particular unit, you'll notice that the top sash actually tilts in, and this is really designed, people say, oh, is that to clean the window? Please don't clean your windows like this. First of all, hire somebody, right? I think that's smarter because you don't want to be on a ladder or acting silly. But getting these things out to clean them and then trying to put them back in is really hard. It's really designed more for us when it comes to installing the window or when it comes to replacing it due to glass breakage. But I wanted to show you how you got this really, really good triple weather stripping right here on the outside. You've got another set of that weather stripping right here on the inside, okay? And you can't really see it, but I'm going to let you try to see it. It's behind this plastic cover here. That right there is what holds that constant force balancer I was telling you about. There's a spring coil in there. It looks like a roll of stamps. And as this travels up and down, that unwinds, right? And kind of comes down, comes up with it. And you know what? You really need it because this is a heavy window. I mean, when you get that glass in there, that triple strength glass I was showing you, it's not a typical window. It is much harder and heavier to operate. So if you don't have a really good balancer system in here, then it's not going to operate as well. And that's what I love about it. It operates so well. Now, while we're standing here taking a look, I want you to look at something else. It might be kind of hard to see, but it's between the glass. You see that kind of little black looking bar that goes through there? Okay, that's what's called a spacer. Okay, and this is like a platinum spacer. This is like the top of the line. Here's a better view of it in this little cutaway right here. You can see right down there. See, it's kind of black, and it's got this little, almost looks like little staples in there. And believe it or not, what that is it's like little places where that metal can bend. So when it gets to this corner here and it has to make a corner, they actually have a place where they can bend it right there. And instead of having a unit that goes here and butts up to another unit. It's all one continuous piece, and it comes all the way back around, which is pretty cool. Now, if you take another look here and you see in there those little, looks like little granules. That's actually like an absorbent silica material. And you know, like if you open a package of something, it has that little packet in there and it says, do not eat. Yeah, do not eat this if you ever cut your window open. What that does is, windows are, no matter what we do, right? There's always going to be some moisture still trapped inside the window. And what that does is it continues to dry out any moisture that got between the two panes of glass to keep your glass looking just as good in 20 years as it did when you first bought it, which is pretty cool. So while we're on the subject of glass and what's inside the window here, let me tell you about argon filling. Now, you've heard of argon gas, right? Argon is what goes between the panes of glass, and that helps reduce sound transfer. It helps reduce the heat and cold transfer. It's basically like really thick, heavy air. I like to use the example of like walking across a swimming pool that's empty versus walking across a swimming pool that's full of water. There's that resistance, right? And this helps resist the heat and the cold from coming through the window. Well, different window companies fill them in different ways. Here's a little clip for you to see. If you see here, this video we're showing you is where they actually penetrate a hole on top, they stick a needle in there, and they fill it up until it's completely full. They just time it, and once it's full, they pull it out and put a plug in it. That's one way to do it. It's good. Most window companies do that. Here's what's even a little bit better. What they do with Anlin is they don't even make and assemble their glass in their factory like some people do. They actually order it directly from Cardinal. It's shipped to them in a complete glass unit, and it's done at the factory. What's the benefit to that? Well, the benefit is it's actually what's called a flood-filled sealed unit. So it's not sealed in an environment where there's air. It actually goes into a machine, two separate pieces of glass. That machine floods the whole cavity with argon gas, and then at that point it's sealed. So now we know, even though you can't call it 100%, right? You're not allowed to call it 100% argon gas fill. It's as full as it's ever going to get. And so having argon gas completely filled to the top is a real benefit, right? It's like taking a long trip with a full tank of gas. That's exactly what you want. And then having this silica agent in here to always make sure that that window stays nice and dry helps prevent seal failures. What's a seal failure? It's that when you get the fog between the glass, and that means that you got to replace the whole glass unit. You don't have to replace the whole window, but you have to replace the whole glass unit. Now, Anlin is so confident in their ability to not have seal failures that they've decided to put their money where their mouth is, and they have for a very long time. They actually give you a lifetime warranty on the entire window, including the glass. And not just give you a lifetime warranty, they give you a double lifetime warranty. You say, Jeff, what's a double lifetime warranty? Well, exactly what it sounds like. When you sell this home to someone else, they get the same exact warranty you got. Now, if they sell it again, then no, the warranty expires. But at least when you go to sell your house, you can say to the new buyer, hey, guess what? This comes with a lifetime warranty for you, including, because this glass is so thick, they're so proud of it, includes glass breakage replacement as well. So if you have accidental glass breakage, and I'm not talking about your neighbor shot it out with a gun because he's mad at you, and I'm not talking about rioting or civil disorder, I'm talking about baseballs and lawnmowers and things like that. If your window breaks accidentally, kids playing baseball and football, that can happen. They'll replace that glass for free for as long as you live in that home, and to the next homeowner as well, and including labor. Like a lot of window companies that I sell for, they don't include labor in their warranty. They're like, oh, here's your parts, and now you have to pay someone to put it in. Well, of course, naturally, if you buy your windows from me here at Houston Window Experts, we always include labor. In fact, we have an extended labor warranty that's included in all of our projects that we install, that if you ever have an issue, we're going to take care of you. But otherwise, a lot of window companies don't do that. Like Pella, for example, they offer labor for the first 2 years. This company offers labor for as long as you live in a home and for as long as the next homeowner lives in a home. So I think that's really pretty cool. Overall, you're getting a really great performing unit, really high quality vinyl from a company with a great reputation using the best glass in the industry, and you're getting the upgraded glass for sound reduction. You're getting the silica in there to help keep it dry, and then you get a couple of more bonus features, and I want to cover those now. Oh, and by the way, I know this is a longer video, but don't run off, because in just a minute I'm going to use a fish scale and I'm going to weigh this window, and you're going to be impressed about something. One more thing I want to point out while we're here holding this frame is, see that foam stuff right there? That is actually an injected foam that helps to reduce the heat and cold transfer from the outside to the inside, or from the inside to the outside. And doing that actually helps in really cold climates. It doesn't really benefit us as much in Houston, but it does help us in this regard in Houston. Number one, it helps reduce sound, okay? Because sound's important Metroplex area. And number two thing it does as well is it helps reduce condensation. You know, we have a lot of high humidity in Houston, so this helps reduce condensation. It gives a better condensation rating to the window. Now there's one more thing you cannot see. It's inside this window, and inside of this rail right here, and inside the other side where these two intersect like this, this is a locking, interlocking rail here. There's inside this window, you cannot see it, there's actually a composite reinforcement bar that goes all the way across here. And there's one on the other side as well that goes all the way across there. You say, Jeff, why is that important? Well, I'll tell you why it's important. This is really heavy glass. And vinyl is not the hardest, strongest material out there, right? We know that. It's very efficient, but it's not as strong as steel, not as strong as aluminum. And so the weight of this glass, especially on a really big window, after a period of time, would cause this window to maybe across the middle to start to sag. So they put that in there for reinforcement to support this really heavy glass that they've put in here. But they also put it in there because, and I love this, when you typically buy a vinyl window and these little locks like this are screwed into something, what are they screwed into? I mean, that's a really good question. Most window companies, this just screws into the vinyl, and the vinyl is all that holds it there. Now, for a company like Anlin and some of these other brands that we offer that are ultra premium companies that have really thick, heavy gauge vinyl, you know, they can go in through a couple of pieces of vinyl in there and it really works quite well. But in this case, you're actually getting this screwed directly into that composite reinforcement member that goes right across here. Really gives you some extra strength. And in fact, they're a California company. So you know in California, they have the highest and strictest standards for just about anything, right? You can't even drink out of a good wine glass anymore in Napa Valley without a warning about lead. But in California, they have the highest standards for forced entry for people breaking into your home, and window manufacturers have to meet that. This does not meet that standard. This exceeds that standard. So this is far above and beyond what you would probably typically normally need for security and for meeting the standards that need when it comes to lock. That's really cool that it has that bar in there. They also have an upgrade for this glass as well. They have a security glass option that gives you laminated glass that makes it even harder for somebody to break through your window, even though it's already really strong, heavy glass. One other thing that comes with a Del Mar series product that you should know about, and I think this is really nice, right? Like in Houston, we don't get to open our windows a lot, so we don't really use our screens a lot, but this is a really cool screen. It's a high quality screen. It uses a product on it called Watershed, which actually helps water that gets on the screen to be able to just shed off more easily. Kind of like a ceramic coating like you'd put on a car, you know, where it kind of beads up, or like if you wax your car, it beads up the water. And why is that important? Well, because as water stays on a screen for a longer period of time, and it does not get a lot of sun, for example, maybe on the north side of the house or something, you have a tendency for mildew and mold to grow on screens. If you don't believe me, go out and look at your screens. It happens. And with this technology, water shedding on it, it has some antimicrobial benefit because it's going to keep that from happening to you. So I want to show you what else is cool. Look, it's got a little handle on it. We'll get you a close-up of that handle. It's got a little, it's called a finger pull rail, and that's for me to be able to lift this up, and I can put this either inside or I can put it outside, whichever place I want it on. But if you notice here too, this is not that cheap little roll-formed aluminum structure for your screen. This is a really nice, heavy-duty screen made out of nice heavy-duty aluminum material. It's got a really cool little bevel edge to it, 90-degree corners with interlocking keys. And what I like about it is, unlike some other brands where they have that little tab down here that you pull on, that eventually, once it sits in the sun, ends up just pulling off into your hand one day, it's got that nice, strong finger pull across the bottom. So it's very minimalistic. It doesn't take up much space at all. And it's a really good, nice, taut screen that's treated with this antimicrobial material that helps shed the water, with a nice pull rail. It's really, everything about this is top notch, and it's like, you know, king of the hill, really good stuff. You know, I could say a lot more things about this window, but then this video would be way so long. But I will tell you that I'm very proud to be able to sell this window to any of my clients here in Houston, even to my friends. I've got a really good friend building their dream home. They just turned 65. They sold their business. They're retiring. They said, Jeff, we're building our dream home. We want a window that we're going to be proud of and last forever. And I bump into these people at church, right? So I'm not going to steer them wrong. This is the product I suggested for them. So let's move along. Check this out. This is Anlin's Coronado picture window. It's also available in the Del Mar series, which is the one that gives you all those upgrades I talked about. Nice, narrow, contemporary profile again. Lots of good glass. And this is just like a fixed unit, right? Like you can mix or match, fix windows in some places and opera windows in others, like you see on the inside here. Real nice, clean look. Pretty cool too, like where you put the screws to mount it. They come already with these little caps we put on there. So it gives you a nice little clean finish when we're all done. It just makes everything look sharp, look good. Now, some people ask, well, Jeff, what about a double hung window? They make a double hung window. I am not a fan of double hung windows. I've got a great video. I think it's been so helpful to so many people to keep them from buying double hung windows, because I think it's not always a good choice. It's right up here, and I'll put it down here in the description as well about double hung versus single hung. It's one of my most watched videos. I think it'd be really helpful for you. But if you notice here too on a double hung window, which means that the top and the bottom both operate. You can see here I'm operating the bottom, I'm operating the top. There are some real benefits to this, right? Like one of the benefits is that if you were going to have a one window in the bedroom and you wanted some circulation, we all know that heat rises. So you could open the top and the bottom, and the cool air would come in from the bottom and the hot air would go out from the top, and then you'd get some more recirculation. That's a real nice benefit. By the way, this comes with a full screen, right? You're gonna need a full screen on a window that's a double hung, so you can open both sides at the same time. But also, if you really wanted to clean your windows from the inside, and I'm not a fan of that, but you could tilt this in, and then you could also, get a helper or this is why I don't like it too much. And then you can tilt in that one as well. And, now you've tilted in both windows, and you can clean it, or you can take it out and sit it on the bed. It is a little bit of work to get it out and to get it back in, but with some experience and with some coaching, I'm sure you could do that. But one of the things that you notice about this, right, and this is what I wanted to really point out to you, is that the top and the bottom, the sight line right here, see, they look the same, right? Like, see how this line right here follows that line right there, and it just keeps going all the way up like that, compared to the E series. Remember I talked about the expanded view? If you notice here on the expanded view, that's not the case. This part down here is wider because it's got a sash to it, but then when it gets up here, then it goes narrower. That's giving you that expanded view. Now that's starting to make more sense, right? Okay, so swing around this way with me. I want to show you one other product of theirs as well. They make a casement window. We just didn't have room for it over there, but this is a casement window. You say, Jeff, what's a casement window? Well, a casement window is a crank out window. I lift this little handle here, and I just give it a little turn like that. Okay, so what I like about this is there's no bar here in the middle to divide it. Like on that single hung window over there I showed you with the expanded view, or on the double hung window, you always have that bar across the middle. On a casement window, you don't have to worry about that, right? It's just like, it's like a picture window, but it operates, it opens. And by the way, you can get fixed casement windows, meaning that they look just like a casement window, but they don't operate. And that you can go ahead and put next to windows that do operate. So let's say across the back of your house, you had a bedroom with 3 windows, but you just wanted one of them to open. You could make the 2 of them fixed casements and one as an operable casement, and they would look the same from the street. It's pretty cool. Looks pretty nice that way, doesn't it? Okay, so I talked to you about the my fish scale. I've been learning to fish recently. I was up in Colorado, and I don't know if you've ever been to Lake City, Colorado. It's pretty cool up there. I got to go do some fly fishing, and oh my gosh, it was so much fun. And then I went to Arizona, and I did some fishing in a lake right from the shore. That was a lot of fun as well. So I got a fish scale here. And so you say, well, Jeff, what's this got to do with anything? Let me turn this on for you, and I want to show you. So, you can just like put a weight in here, and then it kind of weighs and tells you how much your fish weighs. So I want to show you something here. This is a competitor window. This is a great window as well, but it does not have all that glass upgrade or the thickness of the frame like I've shown you. So I want to show you, I want to reset this to 0, okay? I'm going to pick this window up, and I want to see how much this window weighs. What does that say? 23.7, 23.8. Okay, so let's take a look at that. 23.7 pounds. Now this is a 23.5 inch by 35.5 inch window. 23.5 by 35.5. These are both identical when it comes to size. This is the Anlin window, okay? I want to go ahead and reset this now. That was 23.7. I'm going to weigh this window, same size, right? And here we go. Okay, what does that weigh? 30.2, 30.3, thereabouts, yeah. So 30.34 compared to 23. So that tells me that this is about 30, it's about a third heavier window. Now, you're not going to go around carrying your windows, but I will tell you, if my guys have any complaints at all, they say, Jeff, these windows are so heavy. Well, not that heavy is always better, but in this case, it's a thicker gauge vinyl than most windows. It's thicker glass than most windows. Yes, it's a beefy window. It's strong. It's durable. It's gonna last a long time. You're really gonna like it. I think it's great. Hey, so colors. Okay, so they have 3 colors that are what we call extruded colors, meaning that the color's all the way through, right? It's like a bar of soap. You could actually take a bar of soap, right, and cut it with a knife. It's the same color all the way through. And then they have what are called thermal coat. These are not actually painted on. These are applied using a heat process, okay, which is really pretty cool. They got a lot of different colors that you can pick from here. I think it's a total of 12 or 13 colors that you can pick from. And so, you know, you can say, well, you know what, I really want this other color instead, or I want that color instead. You can go with different colors. So they do have optional colors that are not considered standard. They actually cost a little bit more, and you pay a little bit more money for this, but it's great for you and your designer if you have a specific target that you're trying to reach. Also, you should know that a lot of window companies who offer a custom color outside, they'll usually just put a 10-year warranty on it, whereas Anlin actually puts a double lifetime warranty on the color as well. So they're really confident in their product, and I think the reviews prove it out. And I'm so glad that we've partnered with Anlin. I know that if we have the opportunity to serve you in your home and we show you this Anlin product, maybe it's the right fit for you. If it's not, hey, I've got over a dozen brands to choose from, right? I'm not married to a particular brand of window, but when I see a good one and I like its quality, I like to give it 2 thumbs up. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this video. In the comments below, tell me, what do you think? What do you think about Anlin? Tell me what you're looking for in your home, your project, and also tell me what videos you'd like to see me cover. I'd love to make a video just for you. Okay, if you don't live in the Houston area, but you're looking for a great window company, check out my website, jeffslist.com. I'll see if I know somebody in your area and I'll point you in the right direction. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. We'll talk again real soon.